Whoever says they know exactly how the season is going to play out for the St. Louis Blues is lying to you. We're going to do
it. Steve told me before this. He knew.
He says he knew. He definitively knows. If anybody puts their fist down and goes, this is what the St. Louis Blues are. No. The Blues don't really know. But I think they feel better about it than they did last year. To me, this is one of the NHL's most fascinating teams. Doug Armstrong sold big at the deadline. One entire Stanley Cup winning line. O'Reilly, Achari, Barbashev gone to two different teams. One of them won another cup. And then he went and tried to get Timo Meier.
Which I don't think was a terrible idea.
Which was the two teams that won the Stanley Cup? Which of those two teams?
Vegas.
It wasn't the other one.
It wasn't the Leafs.
Oh, okay.
Who ended up with the other two guys. Last year, they finished 6th with 81 points. What do you think the betting odds have the St. Louis Blues at this year?
77.5.
Okay.
You said, wow, 86?
They had 81 points last.
Oh, 81. I'm going to say it's going to be in and around there. Go a little higher. 83.5.
86.5.
Oh, okay.
You're unreal at this.
Yeah,
you
I told
are
you,
really
Jesse
good.
Blake's Sportsbook.
Yeah. Well, we need to start one.
Yeah.
Come on. The Blues do not want to rebuild. They want to retool. That's why they were in on Meier. They want to be competitive again as soon as they possibly can be. And I feel like they can be. And that starts with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the guarantee, right? Like, to me, that's the free space for the St. Louis Blues. They have a number of question marks, but those two scoring 1 billion points and playing fun hockey is easy.
Right. And I wonder about those guys with this team in terms of what they bring, because sometimes with great players like that, teams start to get wise to who's scoring and they ISO them, right? And when you don't have O'Reilly, Achari, Barbashev bringing that toughness, you don't have Tarasenko, who, yes, I know he's had injuries, but is still a threat. He's not there anymore. I wonder, because like I'm looking at their second line, it's Shen, it's Buchnevich, it's Saad, it's Kevin Hayes, Kapanen, Vrana.
Sammy Blake.
I really like Jakub Vrana.
I do too.
I think he could be a huge breakout player this year.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay, tell me
But
why.
like we're trusting Jake Neighbors to do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jake Neighbors, by the way, in the Jeff Merrick mentions you every day club.
Yeah. But you were saying Vrana, and
He loves.
I interrupted you on why.
yeah,
Vrana
why
was
Vrana?
good.
And tell us about Vrana.
Well, so he's a player I really root for. He's dealt with some demons and issues throughout his NHL career. I was really disappointed to see Detroit kind of
Give up on him after
give
the
up
trade?
on him. Yeah, because in the games that he has played in the NHL in recent memory, he's been a goal scorer.
Yeah.
He's been really good. There's just a bunch of good bets on the St. Louis Blues. Like Kapanen to be better than he has been, that's a decent bet. And there's not much at stake. If he's not the greatest bet, you got him off waivers. And I think Vrana's...
At very least, he can skate the lights out.
He can
Still got the
skate
speed.
the lights out, and Vrana can skate every bit as fast, and he's got better finish. Even though he's not finished.
I'm just going to say,
he's-
where is he from? If you look at the St. Louis defense over the last 3 years since the Stanley Cup, it seems like every time they've had a major decision to make, they've made the wrong one. Do you want to keep Alex Pietrangelo, or you could get Torrey Krug at $3 million less per year? You went with Torrey Krug. Pietrangelo was obviously the guy to keep.
Also,
you
Justin
wanted to keep.
Falk.
Do you want to keep Vince Dunn, or do you want to go get Justin Falk at $6.5 million, same as Torrey Krug? Well, Vince Dunn, to me, is a guy that's rising up and becoming the guy that you drafted him to be. Justin Falk is 31. The D-core doesn't look bad, though. It's still Falk, Krug, Parayko, Leddy. They're all between 30 and 32 years of age. Don't forget about Marco Scandella, 33 years of age.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bortuzzo, Tucker, and Scott Perunovich.
Perunovich. I think, Adam, like I'm caught somewhere between sharing your optimism for the St. Louis Blues and looking at that roster and going, oh, this is dangerously close to being a bunch of guys. The St. Louis Blues are in danger of becoming a list of names. They sure are a bunch of people.
That's like when I was looking at this team and I was trying to look at how they're going to finish.
What word was that?
They're going to
Prognosticate is what I was going to say, and then I was like, I'm going to back out of that word because I can't really say it.
You're 2 syllables deep. And it's
Yeah, I'm like, fuck it. All right, Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, and then I mentioned Jake Neighbors, who's 21 and first round pick and could blossom into something.
Jeff Merrick's guy.
Outside of like Thomas and Kyrou, I'm like, it's a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, do we expect Jordan Binnington to be 2019 Binnington and carry the team to
Well, here's the thing.
2018, sorry.
They've had 3 decisions to make: Pietrangelo, Dunn, and Ville Husso, and they've L'd on all 3 of them, right?
He was a disaster for a lot of last year.
Oh, Binnington?
Binnington.
Oh, terrible.
And the rest of the lineup, if you can't get good goaltending and your rest of the lineup looks like a bunch of guys outside of Kyrou and Thomas, I'm a little worried.
Now, there's Guy Jeff Merrick mentions every day in Jake Neighbors. There's Guy Grav mentions every day in Joel Hoffer.
So I wanted to ask you about him because Binnington has not had a save percentage at or above 910 since 2021. It's gotten it's not bad, but it's not great. Hoffer, though, is he the guy? Because I think Binner's on his last year.
Yeah.
So is he the guy that challenges and takes over?
I do think Hoffer
wrong,
could absolutely.
Binner's not on his last year, objectively.
No,
He's
no.
close.
He's like a long-term
when you said
deal.
that, I was like, really?
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that 4 more years.
Yeah. And do you have his numbers from last year? Because I can read them off for you.
Please.
27 and 27 and 6 with an 894. That's not good.
That's yucky.
That's also way too many games for Binner. Like 61 NHL games for Binnington is too much at this point, and Hoffer's got to step up and be a guy. But his 6 career starts. Who knows what he is?
This is the thing. They didn't have anyone, and then Hoffer comes in, shows
They had Thomas Greiss.
well past due Thomas Greiss.
He retired.
Yeah, well past due. Last year went so well that he said, "I'm not going to play hockey anymore." So that's pretty bad. But Hoffer was really good in the minors. But it's a big step. It's a big step. Like I wonder.
You're asking Hoffer for 30 games.
Yeah, at least.
See, here's what I think. The reason I started this segment with anybody who tells you they know exactly how the St. Louis Blues season is going to go is lying to you is because of Doug Armstrong. To me, Doug Armstrong is the guy that is going to, well, obviously he's going to make or break this, but I really genuinely believe he's one of the more aggressive general managers in the NHL.
Have you ever spoken to him?
Yes, he was a guy on Asia Provocateur. He's one of our first interviews.
Well, you're speaking very nicely about a man you know personally.
No, I'm really impressed with the fact that he was in on Timo Meier. I'm really, I don't think that Doug Armstrong has ever really put together a team that are just a bunch of names in his entire run here in St. Louis. So if there's any team that I don't believe is going to become that, it's the St. Louis Blues. I think they will have an identity, even if they don't make the playoffs.
Here's what I was unimpressed with. Him trying to get Timo Meier worked out the same way that trading Torrey Krug did.
Right.
That neither thing happened. He tried to trade Torrey Krug. Krug had trade protection. He blocked the trade. So a lot of GMs are heading into this year with at least mostly the team that they want. We know objectively Doug Armstrong is heading into a season with a team he does not want.
Right. And that's a dangerous general manager.
It's a dangerous general manager.
creative.
Well, it takes leverage away from him.
I think, yes, but I think any team that's not performing doesn't have the same leverage as a team
Well,
that is. And
that's true, too.
And Torrey Krug,
He's going to be one of the more active ones in the NHL.
1,000%. And that's why it's so exciting. And that's why I said, I don't think we know what the St. Louis Blues are yet. I think this is a full-blown transitional year. Do they squeak into the playoffs? We'll save that for the end of the segment. But I wonder about, let's mention Torrey Krug. Let's use him as an example.
Sure.
Okay, so I am your general manager. Jesse is your coach. And Steve Dangle, you are you're Stevie Krug, defenseman that we traded for, that we let Pietrangelo go for. And a couple of years later, even though you got your no trade or your no move or whatever you have, you know that Jesse and I have had several meetings without you in it, along with the entire scouting staff and assistant GMs and all that, and said, Stevie Krug is not a fit on this blue line anymore for where we want to go. And so we come to you and we go, hey, can you waive that no trade? You know that the coach knows it's coming. You know the AGMs know it's coming, and you didn't know it was coming. You go, well, no. But then you have the summer to think about it. And you think about it and you go, well, all of the guys, clearly they must have come to some consensus. So most of the people in our front office no longer want me here. Why would I not waive it? Do you not feel like that?
No, he wants to live in St. Louis. right? Like he wants his family to be there. Like I don't think people hate Philadelphia so much that they're like, I'd never go there.
Of course not.
Right? So
St. Louis either. I'm just saying.
He's put down roots. There's a situation where the Blues could really overachieve with all their guys out there who have an axe to grind. But there's also a situation where things go south and it's just one of the most dysfunctional rooms in the NHL. They got a coach who's been there for a while and he's been openly grumpy and critical of his team. You got a bunch of guys who are on their fourth, fifth, sixth chance, Kasperi Kapanen. You know, like he couldn't have had a better situation. He was on Matthews' wing. Then you go to Pittsburgh. They're looking for a guy who can play with Malkin or Crosby. It doesn't work out. He gets put on waivers. Now he's in St. Louis. And there's no Malkin. There's no Crosby. There's no Matthews.
There's Kyrou and Thomas.
There's Kyrou and Thomas. What, are you going to be riding shotgun with them?
There's Jake Neighbors.
It's Jeff in the room?
Yeah, what's the over-under on how many times we mentioned Mr.
Man,
Neighbors?
Jake Neighbors. I'm going to be paying attention to Jake Neighbors a lot.
We better.
They're going to have to rely on the youth because like a lot of these older guys...
We're coming up on 11 minutes, guys.
Okay. Well, sorry.
Well, because we're so confused about this damn team.
Maybe I started recording a little bit.
But I'm throwing this out there. I think that the St. Louis Blues are the team that changes the most from game 1 to game 82 this year. That's my prediction.
That's a fair bet.
So let me ask you guys this. Where do you have them in the division?
Even though I think Kevin Hayes is super jacked to not be under John Tortorella anymore, I have them 6th.
Okay, Jesse Blake.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have them 6th as well.
Ooh.
And I would take a flyer on Craig Berube being one of the first head coaches fired.
I think you're right.
I'd put money on that.
I think you're right.
Okay, I have them just above the Coyotes. I think they're going to be in 5th place. And I like the St. Louis Blues more than these guys do. But the biggest roadblock for me for them is Jordan Binnington.
You have them outside the playoffs.
I do have them outside the playoffs, but I think there's going to be some big changes, and I think they'll be back in the picture next year.